day. Welcome back to my channel. Our discussion for today will be served as my last report or last lesson for this topic that I will be discussed. Our discussion for is all about the hyperbola of conic section. The hyperbola, let f sub 1 and f sub 2 will be two distinct points. The set of all points, P, which is our P, whose distance from f sub 1 and f sub 2 differ by a certain constant, is called the hyperbola. The hyperbola is a set of all points in a plane such that the difference of the distance of each point of the set from the fixed point, our foci, in the same plane is constant. So this is the graph of our hyperbola. So we have the center here, and we have the vertex here. We have our f sub 1 and our f sub 2. We have our conjugate axis here, and our transverse axis here. And this arrow, what we call our asymptote. And this blue arrow here is what we call our hyperbola. Okay, so an asymptote is a line that a curve approaches as if heads towards infinity. So this one is our asymptote. And the transverse axis is the axis of hyperbola that passes through the two foci. So this is our transverse axis that passes to our first foci and our second foci. Next is the conjugate axis. It's the axis of a hyperbola perpendicular to the transverse axis at a point equidistant from foci. So this is our conjugate axis, or what we call our y-axis. Okay. So now, to more understanding about our hyperbola conic section, we have this given problem. So we have our given. All we need to do is to find our foci, our center, our vertex, and our equation of asymptote, or our conjugate and transverse axis. So we have this given, y squared over 16 plus x squared over 20 is equal to 1. So our center here, which is at the 0, 0. So our foci, to find our foci, we have this formula. C is equal to square root of a squared minus b squared. So our the value of our a squared is had at 16. This one, so we had square root of 16. And then the value of our b squared is we have 20. So we have square root of 20. To get or to remove the square root of to remove the squared, we need to square it here and here. So we had that 20. So it becomes our square root of 16, which is 4. So we have the value of 4. Our square root of 16 is 4. And the square root of 20, since our 20 is not a perfect number, so we have square root of 0.45, or is equals to square root of 5. So this is our square root of 20. So to get the value of our foci talaga, so we need to plus our value here in our given. So 16, C is equals to 16, square root of 16 plus 20, because that's always positive, so we can come up of square root of 36. So our square root of 36 have the value of 6. So now our foci is have the value of 6 by this given. Next to find out is our vertex. So to find our vertex, we need to count at least from our foci. Here in graph, we have our foci here in there, and we have our foci f sub 1 here and f sub 2 here. To find our vertices, we need to count 2 ahead for our foci 1. So we have to look up 1 and 2, so that is our vertex. And here, pababa naman, 1 and 2, that is our vertex. So our vertex had the value of, and f sub 1 have the value of 0. Negative 4, and f sub 2, which is positive, 0. Positive 4. So that is our vertices. Now we get our foci and our vertex. The next to do is we need to get our equation of asymptote. So we have this equation for our asymptote. This is the value of our asymptote. Y is equal to 4 over 2 square root of 5x. That is our equation of asymptote. Why? Because our asymptote is, lalabay lang siya dito. Ito yung asymptote natin sa graph. Yan. And then to formulate or to know the graph of our equation, our hyperbola graph is this one here. So that's it. That is the graph of our given for the equation of hyperbola. So that's it. I hope you have learned and I hope you have enjoyed my report, my discussion for the last part or last lesson for the conic section discussion. Thank you.